Greetings, family. Peace and love to you and yours. This is Guru, and thanks for visiting my channel. Family, this video is about everywhere you look, white people are spreading hate. The actual article says everywhere you look, Americans are spreading hate, but I really want to be specific on this because it is truly white people who are spreading the hate. If that feels melodramatic, you haven't been paying attention. Well, family, it was a big week for hate. It was no different than last week, or the week before, or the week before that, or last month, last year, hell, last century. Acts of violence and intimidation against minority groups are becoming so commonplace that they're tough to track, though we have been trying. This week reports on 3 incidents highlighted how fear and hatred have permeated the everyday lives of Americans. In a township outside of Indianapolis, Indiana, school officials confirmed that a group of 4th graders, pictured here, on a winning robotics team were told to go back to Mexico by other students and that parents joined in to hurl racist slurs their way. The Indianapolis Star reporter who brought the February incident to light this week characterized the backwards thought process behind the verbal assault as this: if you allow racism and hate to dictate these things, minority students from the East Side, poor kids from a Title I school aren't supposed to be smart. They aren't supposed to be talented. They aren't supposed to be technologically savvy. And they definitely aren't supposed to be able to beat white students from surrounding communities. But that's exactly what happened here. The day for these students should have been one of glory and celebration for 5 4th graders. The Pleasant Run elementary students had just won a robotics challenge at Plainsfield High School, and the students, new to bot competition this year, were one step closer to the VEX IQ State Championship. Then, racism got in the way. For the record, their race or ethnicity shouldn't be part of this story, but it is. The team is made up of 9 and 10-year-olds. 2 are African American and 3 are Latino. Okay, so for the most part, the robotics world is kind of a white world, said Lisa Hopper, the team's coach and a Pleasant Run 2nd grade teacher. They're just not used to seeing a team like our kids. And they see us and they think we're not going to be competition. Then we're in first place the whole day and they can't take it, she said. That's right, that's exactly what happened to these 9 and 10-year-old students, unfortunately. Now, 3 weeks after the incident, the Pantherbots, which is the name of their team, won the Create Award for Best Robot Design and Engineering at the state championships, which qualified them for the VEX IQ World Championship next month in Louisville. They will compete there with the students from all over the world. And they say they'll walk in with confidence. Quote, they yelled out rude comments, and I think that they can talk all they want because at the end, we're still going to Worlds, said team leader Elijah Goodwin, 10 years old. It's not going to affect us at all. I'm not surprised because I'm used to this kind of behavior. When you have a really good team, people will treat you this way, he said. And we do have a pretty good team. Now, it's unfortunate that 9 and 10-year-olds are talking about, and we're used to this. And again, I'm going back to my point about the fact that everywhere, white people are spreading hate. I go back to that premise, even though this article says everywhere you look, Americans are spreading hate. I'm going to stick with what I said, that everywhere you look, white people are spreading hate. This is another example. Over in Orange County, California, a waiter was fired for demanding patrons proof of residency in the United States. Quote, I need to make sure you're residents before I serve you, the waiter reportedly said to Diana Carrillo, a 24-year-old Californian, her sister, and 2 of their friends. Carrillo was quick to invoke President Donald Trump, whose administration has been criticized by civil rights groups for failing to respond in a meaningful way to hate crimes across the country. Quote, I feel that that's the direction we're heading in, given who's the president, Carrillo told the Orange County Register Friday. Often, Trump's name is brought up during actual crimes. On Thursday, a man was charged with aggravated harassment after allegedly kicking a Muslim Delta employee at John F. Kennedy International Airport and promising that Trump would kick the victim out of the country. Quote, are you fucking sleeping? Are you praying? What are you doing? The suspect, 57-year-old Robin Rhodes, said to the victim, according to a complaint that KTLA obtained. You did nothing, but I am going to kick your freaking ass, Rhodes said. Fuck Islam. Fuck ISIS. Trump is here now. He will get rid of all of you. You can ask Germany, Belgium, and France about these kind of people. You will see what happens, unquote. There are so many instances of hateful acts carried out in Trump's name or policy that saying hateful people are emboldened by this administration borders on cliche. At least 150 civil rights groups agree. Last week, Amnesty International, the Anti-Defamation League, the NAACP, Muslim Advocates, and the National Bar Association were among a long list of groups to sign an open letter condemning the Trump administration's lack of action or even acknowledgement after so many acts of violence and intimidation. And I have to agree, because I haven't heard this administration, the Trump administration, come out at all or protest loudly against the hate that has been going on, especially behind the name of Trump, or in the name of Trump, I should say. Trump, of anyone, should be first and foremost coming out speaking up against this type of thing or this type of behavior. But has he? No, because he's not an accountable president, that's for sure. Jewish leaders and lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are enraged over the lack of response to bomb threats made to Jewish community centers over the country. Though the Department of Homeland Security has pledged its full involvement into the investigation of more than 125 threats made to 85 centers across the country since January, the federal reaction has been widely criticized as hollow and sluggish. And as you can see from this map, there are 126 bomb threats, 85 Jewish community centers, 10 Jewish schools. And the past few weeks have been no different across America. We watched as 2 Indian men in Kansas were shot after being told to, quote, get out of my country, unquote. We watched as 4 mosques were burned down in less than 2 months. We watched as a Sikh man was shot in Washington, as gravestones were overturned, as Latinos in California and New York were assaulted, as transgender women of color were murdered, as Jews were under siege in their homes, places of worship, and community centers, and as black people are targeted every day of our lives, victimized and brutalized by police brutality and race soldiers. Yes, we have all been able to witness this type of hate. So we will continue to watch as lawmakers, civil rights groups, and the American people wait for the Trump administration to draw a line in the sand and condemn the rise in American hatred. And I'm going to restate that it says civil rights groups and the American people wait for the Trump administration to draw a line in the sand and condemn the rise in white people's hatred. That's what I meant to say. Anyways, I'm going to end this here. I wanted to speak more about those students at the Indianapolis school who won the robotics challenge. I read the whole article. I found it pretty disgusting that 9 and 10-year-olds were victims of white racism, and by other students for that matter, as pretty disgusting, because those students who are also 9 and 10-year-olds had to learn that ill, bad, deranged, savage behavior from their parents. So that's who I blame. I blame the parents of those little kids who taunted the other kids who won the challenge. But anyways, again, this is everywhere you look. Hatred is being exhibited by white Americans. Not all white Americans, not all white people are haters, but those who are silent, well, you're fitting the bill too, because you're going right along with the program. What can you say? Anyways, I'm going to end this off here. Thanks for watching. Peace and love to you and yours. I'm out.